And just like that, I'm back. I actually washed my hands from touching the meatloaf. We were talking about what you can put in your meatloaf besides onions. You can put mushrooms, you can put green pepper, red pepper. I have, obviously, onions. You could put tomatoes if you want to put tomatoes in it. There's really no right or wrong reason or way to make a meatloaf. It's just up to you. If you don't have breadcrumbs, like I said, you can use fresh bread. If you have bread that's a little bit on the stale side, you can use that. Just make sure it's not turning green or growing penicillin. You don't want that in your meatloaf. You can add, if you don't have anything other than cornflakes, just make sure they're not frosted. But straight cornflakes, you can actually use that as a binder. After you've mixed your meatloaf, let it chill out. You can put it in the microwave. Don't turn on the microwave, just set it in the microwave. You can leave it out until you're ready to make the pans. So I'm going to let this sit out for about an hour before I'm ready to cook it. That's basically how to make a meatloaf. I'll show you guys in a little bit how we loaf it and put it in the oven. I'm not starting my oven quite yet because it's an hour away from when I want to actually start baking the meatloaf. So about half an hour before I'll preheat my oven. I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. The meatloaf only needs 1 hour to bake. So I'll be back in a while to show you the rest of the meal. Okay, y'all, welcome back. It's 5 o'clock now. I'm going to go ahead and put my oven on. You're going to set your... You're going to set your oven for 350 degrees. At this point, and I'm going to show you the racks. You're going to move your rack, if it's up at the top, to the middle part of your oven. Actually, I'm going to actually leave it on there. I've got a rack down here and a rack up here. The reason I'm doing that is I may have enough meatloaf for 2 loaf pans. So I'm going to get my meatloaf out. And that's the ground beef. We're going to go ahead and shape this into a loaf pan. And like I said, I'm going to kind of put you guys down so you can see this. There we go. I've got my loaf here. And I've got my second loaf here. I'm going to put this insert in one. It just sits right in. Like I said, it's a really good thing to get if you can afford, or you have a Williams-Sonoma near you. You can also order Williams-Sonoma products through their website, but they have really, really nice gold pans. Okay, so I am going to lift you guys up, and hopefully you guys will see this. Push you guys back a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to do this one first. I'm going to take about half of the mixture. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit more than half. You just kind of want to push your meatloaf. You don't need to spray your pans. There's enough moisture in this meatloaf with the ketchup that it should not stick to the sides. And this one is going to go in here. It's going to make 1.5 loaves. I didn't quite have enough to make 2 full pans, but this will make 1.5. And you can see I've got space on this side. Don't worry about that It's okay. If I wanted to be a little fancy, that's why I said these loaf pans can be a little bit, they're a little bit larger than most pans. So I didn't quite have enough to make two full sheets, but these are bigger than a normal thing. So that's how you do the meatloaf. I'm gonna pull you guys up so you can see me. You're just gonna let it bake for an hour. You might need to go a little bit longer. If you're doing 2 pans, go maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Ground beef cooks relatively quick in the oven. Most recipes will say an hour and a half. I've never gone that long. Usually by an hour and 10 minutes, you know that the meatloaf is totally cooked. And if you ever have questions, you can always cut a small piece of meatloaf, pull it off, look down inside. If it still looks like this, then it needs to cook longer. If it's totally looks more like a cooked hamburger, go ahead and pull them out. So we're gonna just have these sitting over here for the oven. You don't need to do anything else. Some people put bacon on the top. Some people put ketchup. You could do that. You could add barbecue sauce if you want to make a barbecue sauce. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to make the meatloaf. It's just on how you want to make it. If you want it more flavorful, put 2 strips of bacon on top. You can also wrap it. If I was doing the meatloaf on the big green egg and smoking it, I would wrap it in bacon and put it on my grill, and that actually will hold the loaf. I wouldn't do it in the loaf pan. You can also do it in the loaf pan on the big green egg. But I'm not doing that tonight. I'm doing it in the oven. So at this point, we're going to start getting the ingredients we need for my grandmother's spaghetti. What you're going to need is you're going to need a package of spaghetti or long noodles. It does not have to be spaghetti. This is which one? Trying to see. This is not actually a spaghetti. This is a this is a cannellini. And the difference is, I'm gonna let you see what the difference is. This is a lot thinner of a noodle than a spaghetti. It's not as thick as the spaghetti noodle. You don't have to use spaghetti noodles for this. You could use any straight pasta noodle. Again, you're going to need 1 can of petite diced tomatoes. If you want to make more spaghetti, if you have a bigger family and you want to do this recipe, use 2. But what you're going to need to do with this is drain off the liquid. And we're going to do that now. It's a little early for me to start this because this actually does not take that long. It takes about 20 minutes to fully make the spaghetti. So I'm not going to do it probably until it gets closer to 6 o'clock. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my tomatoes drain. And what you can do, and I just have an old-fashioned crank can opener. I used to have a really nice electric one, but I don't know what they've done with can openers. I have not found a can opener I've liked or that has worked for more than a couple of months. And can openers shouldn't be that expensive to buy, but for some reason they're really hard to find. So what you can do when you drain out the tomatoes is do this one-handed. I'm just getting a bowl. You can do this in the sink if your sink is clean. I've got some dirty dishes over there sitting in the sink, so I'm not going to do this part, but if you have a good sieve, just set that in the bowl, and I'm going to kind of show you what I mean. I'm actually going to move you guys down on this, and then you're just going to pour your tomatoes in here and just let them, always recycle your can. Just let them sit. They're going to drain. By the time you use them, they'll be totally drained, and you can go ahead and throw the juice out. If you like tomato juice in a Bloody Mary or something, you can reserve the liquid, or in a soup if you use it for soup. I don't know how you would necessarily, you're not going to have, from one can, and this is a 14.5 ounce, you're not going to have a lot of liquid. Always, always rinse out your cans before you put them in the recycle bin, just as a common courtesy for the recyclers when they go through it, that they're not having to deal with a dirty can that has germs in it. So I rinsed it out. It's going to go into my recyclable bag, which will go in. At this point, you can get a pot. Now, we're going to be talking pastas throughout the year when I do more of my Italian style cooking. But when you cook pastas, you always want to have a big bowl. You never want to cram pasta in a small bowl, or small pot rather. Always have a big pot for your pasta. And you want to pretty much fill it with a lot of water. Pasta likes a lot of water to swim in. The less water you use, the more your pasta is going to stick together. So I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to fill this up with hot water, and we'll be right back.